So, hello and welcome to another episode of the Cyclist Amateur Tactics, where we follow two Archanen cycling enthusiasts in the game The Cyclist Tactics, who simply want to have fun in one cycling race every month and see how far they can get. And without further ado, let's continue where we left off in the last episode. So, in the last episode, we made 5th place in the Rising Sun Rush. To the surprise of everyone, I suspect, with a very long classic. And now, sort of the opposite. A 3-stage tour, not too long. The second one is a bit longer, a bit hillier, decidedly. So here, if we make it past the first climb, then we should be in a pretty good shape. Here, probably it doesn't matter. We're going to die on the last climb anyway, and the last one shouldn't be a big problem. So let's see how we do in Hedvisia, whether this time it will be less of a pain compared to the infamous Weisswand challenge. So who else do we have? So lots of level 7, level 8. Including mountain level 2, flat level 1. So Theo, who's certainly the one to watch. And they actually now count Vladislav as the leader for some reason. Not sure why, but anyway, we have no chance, so let's use it. Okay, we start at a climb, so I'm inclined to stay in the leading group, because we're not getting any slipstream anyway. And then pull back now in the second turn, so that we get the -1 bonus. 2 brave SKPs, and by going back we're going now from 7 to 6 energy used, and we're going to pull the same trick for the next part of this grind, what it's turning out to be. It looks like the peloton doesn't take any prisoners, and we have one choice, just to hang in there and burn through everything we have. Can mitigate things a little bit. Again, dropping back, saving 1 energy. Will they? No. They will take now a little bit slower. No, they won't. Okay, Insanity part 2, but then we're over, and we're still alive and well, because we have the energy and the attack points to burn. So, that was the hard part. So we're looking in reasonably good shape. And now Vladislav should benefit from his... well, should soon benefit from his flat bonus. Not yet, we're on the downhill. And yeah, still 115 notes to go. So we still stay back here. It's a little bit technical, but not worth going back and forth for. Especially since I presume that the peloton will behave, since there are no SKPs en route. And we don't care about the intermediate sprint. Although it's before a short climb and everyone will go out anyway, so it may be prudent. Well, this is easily jumpable. Here I honestly don't know. Let's see what happens. Although we don't necessarily need the slipstream, since the stage is short enough anyway. And they're actually taking it really slow. Would have expected a bigger jump, but probably just, yeah, SKP takes a chance. Everyone else jumps very, very short for a downhill. Probably want to get the most out of the 14. And this will... I think we can still stay here for one more. I'm certainly not fighting for the green jersey. So that was a bit early when I left the last group. But they could have gone for a more insane pace. So we're still fine, and we're actually not spending energy, so it doesn't actually matter. Now everyone comes to the front. And I suspect we ought to do the same, just in case. And shouldn't have needed to do that, because they are still taking it slow for some reason. The other advantage, of course, is we're going to be in much better shape tomorrow for the next stage, when we don't burn out completely on the opening stage. So that's always something nice, and we are staying nicely tucked towards the back, because we're not here for points, we're simply here to stay with everyone. And no one actually makes the jump past the sprint, so no one really cares. I could do it for giggles, but that of course means then probably abandoning any hope of scoring, so no. I'd rather have some good team result, because I have no idea who's going to perform better, the newly promoted Ladislav or the Speed Demon low in energy Maxim. So we simply leave things as they are. Just have the flexibility here to react to wherever people are going, and let them go first. And they can't jump to the finish directly, so we'll have ample time to get into the actual leading group if we feel like we are competing for top positions, which we probably will. And everyone's jumping across to the same place, except one person who is probably out of juice already. Yeah. That's still asking me to move forward, but obviously not. And the same thing for Maxim. So that's a huge field. And I'm not going to move through that. That's just a mass finish, and as long as we are there on time, then everything is fine. Are we in terms of attack points? We have attack points to burn, although I'd rather move forward after the finish line than before. So, yeah. Should have probably pulled Maxim to at the front of Vladimir, but anyway, can always go a bit short with Vladislav, but I wouldn't want that either, because I have no idea who's going to perform better in the end. So let's see what they can do. Well, we can't finish with the pack, and that's probably all we want. And he has still some attack points left. Although it probably doesn't really make a difference. And yeah, Maxima has actually less attack points left. So Vladislav is slightly ahead, not that it matters with everyone basically finishing in one big bunch. So that wasn't too bad. And yeah, everyone in the stage, or almost everyone, the first 23 out of 29 on the same time. And yeah, we are certainly not up for fighting for the top 7 who would get sprint points. So that was quick and surprisingly painless, and we are almost back to form and can start the next stage. We know that we can survive the first part. We might not survive the final climb. So second, it's a bit longer, the first climb. That's obvious now. So let's stay at the front and benefit from the energy savings that we can get when we move back while being in the climb. Yeah, and they're taking a much more measured approach, which is nice. So we follow the peloton. And the 2 leaders are interestingly going on their own, which is a bit weird. But more power to them. So let's save 1 point of energy. They're really meaning business. But the peloton is also meaning business. So Maxim needs to burn a point, burn an attack point, whereas Vladislav, due to his higher base energy, doesn't. So I suspect that's already the regeneration at work. Saving 1 point, and probably now jumping to the 4% incline. Yes. And then it's more climbing, so it's a different mountain. And yeah, I know these are all procedurally generated anyway, so there aren't really any mountains hard-coded, I suppose. Maybe they are after the mountain jersey as well, or they simply... Now the leader is going off on his own. Method or madness, that's the question. And this should now be the jump into the downhill. Yes. Okay. That survived and not too bad. So we should be good until the final climb, depending on how much the peloton feels like putting the pedal to the metal, metaphorically speaking. And I suspect with the leader off on his own, they might not take too many resting turns. No. It's measured, but not crazy. And for us in the back, it's comfortable. So Peloton is doing their thing, and no energy burned. Excellent. And the SKPs are pretty far off, and it's now both together from the looks of it, a single group. Yeah, both together again. So that will be interesting and easy to distinguish where the leader will actually finish, in the pack or on their own. The nice thing so far is I'm hardly burning any energy. So that's hopeful that we will somehow make it through the final climb, not dead last. I'm going to stay tucked away for that climb, because I think the Peloton has other things to worry about than having further breakouts. It looks like we caught the first one. No, they split up actually. So someone tries it on his own. So that probably doesn't bode too well for either of them. Yeah, we jumped that, so that's probably going to be expensive, but worth it. And I actually caught. So that might mean that the leader is pretty toast. Vladislav actually can't make it, and shares this fate with a few others. Maxim might be able... yeah, Maxim can. So here it's the higher speed, simply. We might still get a problem with overall energy on the final climb. So let's see whether we can catch back up with the Peloton. That depends on their pace, which seems to be pretty insane, at least for here, but that makes sense to get the last downhill piece. My group here. What? Are we not? I'm not getting too much slipstream. Staying with the group for the time being. And I'm starting to leave the end of the Peloton. and get ready for some action. Okay, now they're meaning business, and probably catching up will be just wishful thinking. Especially since I'm not too fast myself, or Vladislav isn't too fast. So Maxim can follow. Yep, so we take it in a reasonable pace. Although I'm inclined to go a bit further on my own. And the others can follow. So I'm basically one entire turn behind. And now it's no more slipstream anyway, and moving up is free. I wonder if I should have made Vladislav a mountain rider. But then I would still be behind due to the lack of speed. Okay, so now it's the final climb, which isn't too long. So what's the most measured approach? I think it's just going to use energy but not attack points. I can still use them later. And I don't have that much slipstream anyway, and don't have that many folks within reach. So making things a little bit cool. I think I'm taking 2 turns here anyway. Three and 0. 2 and 1 doesn't matter. So I'm 1 of 2 trying to hang on. Yeah, Peloton is already over the climb, so as expected, this was a bit too much. I still have plenty of energy. So I can use it liberally. And same here. Or rather, use it after this turn, because this was just a free move. Okay, first one's finished. So this is certainly a good investment in terms of attack points. Not going to burn everything, since then have we at least something left for tomorrow. Same with Vladislav. We have plenty of energy. Yeah, so we simply finish and let's save some energy for tomorrow, and I don't care about positioning. And now the task is to get Vladislav over the line. Is this enough? This is easily enough for 5 points, so that works. And then, again, the idea is just to finish and to conserve some energy for the final stage, which isn't about the overall amount of energy, but more about the available energy per turn, which of course goes down if the total of the energy total goes down. Okay, how bad is it? Pretty bad, because we are probably among the last ones, because that went dark pretty quickly. So 19th for Maxim, and Vladislav is, yeah, almost at the end. So that probably doesn't really help our overall position. 17th, with some healthy distance, and one small stage where we can probably do something. Although the recovery doesn't look too great. Vladislav is in reasonably good shape. Maxim isn't really, so we have to save our attacks a little bit. It's now more for getting experience anyway than any kind of place. So, bit of a change of pace. And we can actually drop back since we're going to get... No, not really getting slipstream. No, we are. The first is just a modifier, and the second one is how much we're actually getting. So yeah, going back is useful. Since we're chronically low on energy after 2 grueling stages and no recovery stat. And we need all the speed that we can get by saving base energy. And the peloton is doing the job for us. Yeah, and that's something I have to get used to, now that I have a flat rider, to stop one short of climbs so that the flat stat actually counts. So going to the back, and almost spent no energy whatsoever. Now there's an easy jump and an easy downhill. Reasonably easy. 7 energy is still noticeable. We need to go in front before the final climb. How much extra? Yeah, can't move the screen while the AI is doing their thing. Want to measure how long the final climb is away from the finish line, so then roughly know when to leave the coziness of the end of the peloton. So here we have the, so it's 30 to go, and we are at 100, so 70 more till the start. So probably next turn to be safe. So this is, yeah, this is now effectively reading 59 till the start of the climb, because it was 30 nods from the finish. And so 60-ish is, in my experience, always a good time to break out of the end of the peloton. if it's on a flat terrain or slightly downhill. Looks like we're a bit late to the party, actually. But they're doing us a favor and jumping a bit short-ish. Ah, there is a tiny climb in the middle, so that doesn't really count. But they're already going hard, so that's probably part of the problem. Because now we can't really break out in this pace. At least I'm not going to. I'm not going to spend 2 attack points for that. No. No, I rather forgo the opportunity than being completely out of attack points. This is much better, obviously. Because then we can move out without having to pay attack points, and we have plenty of energy for this short stage anyway. Well, Maxim sort of has. There's not too much left, but here isn't too much left either. Wow. That's insane. Peloton jumps right across to the 7, so let's see whether this is actually possible for us. Yes, barely. And that's why it was good to save on attack points. And Maxim is already eating all his attack points. So this looks more like a finish for Vladislav. That's probably going to be another insane jump to the 10 there, or even beyond that, which we can easily do with Vladislav, and Maxim is out of energy, and a peloton is actually here, so I guess we jumped just short because it doesn't really matter anyway. So that's a good finish for Vladislav. So the level up and the flat probably helped saving the energy. Where are we? In E4. So it doesn't really... top 10-ish. 6, 5, 8, yep. Okay. Moving forward costs 1 attack point, which I have, but I don't want to use it. And yeah, Maxim is part here, and I have enough energy so I can stay where I am. So, what a difference a level makes. How far can we... Ah, not very far. Oh, we're still on one node with 2 of the jersey holders. And thanks to Slipstream, we can actually advance to the front. Was that something like 6th? And here we can't finish. And that's all we can do. So that went okay, I guess. Better than expected, and especially unexpected that Vladislav has held up much better than Maxim, so that's the power of +1 and flat, I suspect. Let's look where we ended up. 6th? 7th? 6th. Yeah. So, that's... no. Top 5. Only top 5 get a jersey, but that doesn't matter. Indifference anyway, and for the overall results, Maxim is still 17th. Doesn't change, and Vladislav has moved up a little bit from almost the bottom to 21st, but it really make a difference, although at least one good, reasonably good stage result for both. And yeah, no prestige, but probably some XP that's going to be useful. Okay, that was the Wildau Rhone tour. So next up is Road to Novobeskov. First stage that's going to be reasonably brutal, reasonably long, and reasonably hilly, although with a few downhill breathers. We can probably stay with the field, especially since it's the first stage. Everyone is fresh. Maxim has one in downhill, and that's going to be useful. And the next two stages are manageable, so maybe we're not going to be too far off the top and standings. And oh yeah, let's get the scouting out of the way. This is a result I would have loved in any other game. Some fantastic riders, but yeah, we're not going to use them. So that's a pity. Anyway, let's hope for a better tour than the last one, and let's see how that one goes.